is the DallasCowboys.com Draft Show. Your war room for insider news and draft analysis from deep within the confines of Cowboys headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
And now, your host, Kyle Yeomans.
Today is January 13th, 2025, and we are officially 101 days away from the NFL draft in Green Bay, Wisconsin. We've got a little Draft 101 for you here on the Draft Show presented by Miller Lite. Today, we've got Brian Broaddus soon to join us, Voch Lombardi back for his second episode, and then for the first time in the 2025 NFL draft process, we welcome the duo from 105.3 The Fan, Zach Wolchuk, Bobby Belt. Glad you guys are back on the Draft Show and back with us again today. Enjoyed the snow day a little bit, but it just delayed the fact that I got to talk draft with you guys.
I know. My one-game suspension for day 3 of the draft in April is over. I'm back. I had a lot of time to think about what I did, and now I'm here and I'm ready to go.
There's a lot of self-reflection.
Yeah,
I'm glad that you realize
self-scouting, baby.
The error in your ways. But man, I'm fired up and I'm excited to be here with Voch, dude. I mean, we got to do a little bit of stuff on YouTube last year. You welcomed me on the show. I've enjoyed a lot of your content, and I think we got a great crew. I mean, Tommy, I was watching the first episode. Nick, we know, is fantastic. I'm shocked that Brian's not on time today. I can't wait to make fun of him for this whole show.
Okay.
Oh, he's running in.
Oh, is he?
Pretend we weren't talking about him.
Yeah.
So Jalen Walker, the thing about he's not a linebacker.
Did y'all
Brian,
notice Brian was late?
Brian, what do you think about that?
He's an edge.
He's an edge.
Yes! Oh, we converted him already.
That didn't take long.
No, it didn't.
No, but it's good to have you guys back. Bobby's going to get another one-game suspension for just mentioning it. He's not going to be here tomorrow, but he'll be back on Thursday. No, that's the schedule. But yeah, glad to have you guys back. I saw somebody on Twitter called Nick Harris the young Dane Brugler. And I think I tend to agree there, but we're not going to talk good about Nick while he's off.
I just saw Nicholas. I just came from Plano. I'm going to see him right after we get done with this. So
there you go.
Yeah.
What are you doing out there?
Hanging out with draft prospects, guys who are training to get ready.
How they looking so far?
Looks like they're doing a lot of stretching and a lot of lunges and stuff right now.
Ooh,
it's early in the process. Yeah.
Not too deep into the details.
No, yeah. We're not doing a bunch of speed turns or anything else. We're just we're lunging. We're trying to get those muscles activated.
Love it. That's what Voch did on his way in today, just to be ready for the draft show.
I promise I was lunging, but it wasn't football stuff.
Oh, okay.
Just a little boxing stuff, but don't worry about it.
So lots to talk about, of course, with the draft being now 101 days away, Brian. And we mentioned this in the last episode. I thought by now we would have a little clarification as to the future road for this football team as their head coach goes, as their entire coaching staff go. Don't have any clarification, but what is the scouting department doing right now? 100 days out, looking ahead, and trying to piece things together as we get closer and closer to these All-Star games.
Yeah, you have what you're looking at right now is you've mentioned you're getting ready for these All-Star games, but they're also involved in some cross-check stuff, and maybe there's some guys, some juniors that declare that you haven't seen. You're trying to kind of organize that, get that squared up. But really what you're doing is you're getting ready for these All-Star games. And if you haven't seen a particular player, maybe you're responsible for a position. Maybe your area is offensive line, and so you want to get an idea, of what players are at these games, the Hula Bowl, the East-West game, what you're going to deal with at the Senior Bowl. All these things kind of come into play right now. So what you're trying to do is tidy up those guys that you really don't have an idea. And then when you see them live in practice, you have a little bit better idea, and maybe you can put a little bit better grade on them. Or if the general manager, player personnel director asks you the opinion of your player, you have a much better idea. But they're really getting ready for these All-Star games going forward.
And with all that cross-checking and all of the information that's flowing in, it's only going to continue to get more and more abundant as the days go on. You brought up offensive line. I think there are a lot of Cowboys fans that are still out there, despite what they saw down the stretch, which was positive direction for guys like T.J. Bass and Brock Hoffman and what this offensive line looked like earlier in the year, probably not as fruitful as it was later in the year. But where should that conversation begin at offensive line? What does this class look like? Where should the Cowboys begin talking about taking another offensive lineman very high because they've had some success doing so in the past?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, right, the first thing that we
Just
have
admit it, you're terrified.
I'm not terrified. So see, Brian,
No, you're terrified.
that's fair, but peep this out though, right?
You're terrified because you're going to tell me right now that this line isn't as good as you've seen the last 3 years, and you're an offensive line guy.
That is correct. But let me tell you why, though, Brian. First, we have to figure out why are teams with worse dudes than us able to block better than us.
Yeah.
I think that's the first question we have to figure out. Hey, what's
Actually,
going on
agreed
here?
Something with you today.
Come on, man. Do we have to change how we do things scheme-wise? Do we need somebody to coordinate something different? How can this guy that I'd never heard his 6th-round pick playing, and he's like one of the best guards in football, and I just didn't know. It just snuck up on us. Yeah. As opposed to a guy like Tyler Smith. This was one of his down years, I would say. But he's normally beating the hell out of people. Why is he down this year?
Yeah.
Why was Terrence Steele once great, but down this year?
Yep.
We need to answer questions like that. So once we get that figured out, then I'm going to tell you why I'm so worried about offensive line. Then I'm going to tell you why I want to add as many great offensive linemen to this thing as I possibly can. And I know Cowboy fans don't want to hear that right now. They want to hear running back, wide receiver. But after I figure out...
No, they don't want to hear Michigan defensive tackle from you.
They don't want to hear none of this, Brian. They want a wide receiver. They want to ask
General on Michigan in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have to figure out, okay, do we have to get better there, or is this something that we can live with? Brock Hobbin is a fantastic example of that. And we may all disagree about how good we think Brock is. Some people think we can get a little better. Some people think, we can live with him. And we both may be right. We just got to figure out what side of the coin that's on. And
where do you lean?
I think he's as good as a backup guard as you could possibly get. And I think he's as good as an interior flex center guard dude as you could possibly get.
That's a great way to put it.
I want dudes. Yeah. I look at, because nobody cares what the Raiders are doing, what Jacksonville is doing. Philly, they leave no stone unturned.
Yeah. 7 seconds for Jalen Hurts on that first touchdown to throw the football.
They leave no stone unturned. So if I can get better than Brock, or I know he's a rookie left tackle and all that, but if we can get better than him or better than Terrence, I'm opening to listening how we can get better. Especially if you got questions about 4 and if you got questions about your running back.
And questions about your left tackle that you drafted last year in the first round as well.
And when has this team been as close that we've seen them to maybe achieving an NFC Championship game appearance, if not a Super Bowl? It's when the offensive line and they've got a good running back, right? It's both of them. It's both of them together. I know a lot of people are going to argue, hey, the line will make the runner, right? With this team, it seemed to be a combination of the two. They had a dominant line in 2014. They had an elite back in DeMarco Murray. They had a dominant line in 16. They had an elite back in Ezekiel Elliott. In the Great Wall of Dallas 90s, they had an elite line. They had an elite back in Emmitt Smith. So, let's go ahead and not just, oh, my God, we're going to kick out the running back because it's all about the line. Both together, that's really what, in the history of the Dallas Cowboys, has made them special.
Okay, if I can't get him to say this, are you terrified of these offensive linemen?
Absolutely. I feel like we're walking through a minefield here.
Yeah. Yeah. See, that's
I'm not scared to say that.
No, I know you are. I mean, I know you're not, but I agree. I agree with you about the whole thing of trying to figure this thing out.
Sure.
But sometimes, like I've heard coaches say, good players make good coaches.
Sure.
Sure. And if all of a sudden you got some guys that can kind of overcome maybe a little bit of lack of what's going on, that way. But I tell you what, I'm to the point when you ask the question about offensive line that I'm trying to figure out, okay, which one of these guys can I live with? And which one of these guys can come in here and fit and help and do? I'm having a problem with that right now.
And you're talking about draft prospects.
I'm talking about draft prospects right now. And I'm not, I sound like I'm the sky is falling guy, but I'm just, to me, it is, I've grown accustomed being with you guys. And all of a sudden it's like, man, do you see these offensive tackles? See these guards out there?
Yeah.
I don't get that feeling with this group. I get a feeling of some good players, but like we always like to say the plug and plays. I need to probably stop doing that.
Sure.
Because we learn plug and play doesn't always work here. We thought it was foolproof, but it's not.
So Brian, let me ask you this. Who is your best guard, whoever, best lineman in this draft right now? Who's the best guy in this draft for you?
I think it's the Ohio State kid.
So take Josh Simmons.
Josh Simmons.
Yes.
So listen, take Josh Simmons versus last year's group. Where do you kind of put him? With Mims, with Morgan? Do you put him with Fuaga and them? Like, where do you rank him?
I think he's near the top of this thing, but the problem I'm running into, I'm dealing with an injured guy right off the jump.
He's hurt.
If this guy didn't have a knee injury, Bobby, tell me about this. Tell me if I'm wrong. But and you get everybody will say, well, they love taking hurt guys. They love to. I don't want to take a hurt guy.
Yeah,
I really
they
don't.
usually don't in the first round. I mean,
but this year
not
you got two
knowingly
players
anyway.
that are blinking lights at you, possibly with
corner.
Ravel.
There's so many
who's probably
hurt
the best
guys
corner.
in the first round of this draft. There are corners that are hurt. There's linemen that are hurt.
Left
You know,
tackles,
I mean,
linebackers.
that's what I'm doing. I've only got 15 damn guys. I don't know about you guys. I've got 15 guys in the first round.
Sure.
Oh, I got
That
less
might
than
be
that.
high.
I mean, when
I
you're
got
12,
14.
probably.
Yeah,
I got 11.
it's 12.
I think I got 3 of them are hurt. 3 of them are coming off like major
Of your 15?
Yeah.
Wow.
Of major knee injuries and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Hip
because you put
injuries.
Simmons. Did you put Simmons in the first?
Yeah.
Because I did too, and he's a hurt guy.
Yeah. See, and same thing. Morrison, the corner from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
He got the hip. He's
Yeah.
got not have a knee. He's got a hip.
Yeah.
But see, now I'm dealing with the uncertainty of the offensive line of like, okay, these are good dudes, good good players, but I'm picking at 12. I mean, to me, we could all sit here and poke holes in Banks, the tackle from
Kelvin
Texas.
Banks,
Yeah,
Sure.
and I mean, me personally, I want to play him at guard.
Yeah.
I don't.
okay
I mean,
with
I don't know about everybody else, but I mean,
got him at tackle.
Yeah. Okay. You say.
Yeah.
See, I got in a discussion with people on Twitter. I really didn't get in a discussion when somebody says, you're an idiot, Brian, and he's going to be a tackle." Fine. I'm going to go somewhere else.
Sure.
But I would consider playing him at guard.
Sure.
I think he's got the athleticism to do both, but I did put in my notes think he can be an elite guard if he can inside.
I've got him at tackle right now, but I had Tyler Smith at tackle too, and he's an elite guard.
Convince me about the tackle thing. Convince me.
I like the footwork outside. I've seen it before. It was it was kind of the opposite of Tyler Guyton and what he brought. Tyler Guyton brings the size, the athleticism, and a lot of that power up front, but his footwork was atrocious. We talked about that last year throughout the draft process, and you weren't really excited about it. Goes to the Senior Bowl, has an incredible day, and then does not afterwards. Kelvin Banks, I think, would dominate in a phone booth as opposed to dominating on an island. If that makes sense. Because I think his footwork is there. I think he's good, but I think the strength benefits better to the inside as opposed to the outside.
See, this is where I would disagree with you. I think his feet get out of whack.
I think the speed around the edge. I thought he really struggled at tackle.
Yeah.
See, my issue with the footwork with Kelvin Banks is it's so good in certain areas to me. Like I think his pass sets look really clean. I like,
but they're not quick.
No. But I think they're really clean. But then I watch him, like, whenever I see him trying to climb to the second level, I see clumsy feet. And that's, to me, like, when we're talking about what we want inside at guard, that's why I would have him at tackle. Is because that ability to climb to the second level, I don't know that I trust his movement skills getting to the second level. I think it looks clumsy at times.
Sure.
What do you think, Vach?
I think his best blocks are like his down blocks. I think he reaches really well, but like that angly climbing stuff, he can get a little wonky right there. But what I think is most important is, can he pass it as a tackle? Because
I think he can.
Pass setting as a guard, I kind of want you to be more powerful. I kind of want you to be more gritty.
Yeah.
I don't think he's powerful, gritty enough to be phone booth guard guy. But if he's like, okay, you're a head up 4 or 5 kind of guy, I can kind of phone booth you there, but not on the inside with like a 1 and a 3. I don't think he's powerful like that. But down blocks, like working sideways, that's where I think he like really shines to me.
See, this is where I see him. I see the strength and the power there.
Sure.
I see that. And so, but I don't see the space player.
Sure.
Bobby's talking about second level stuff and all that, though. Like, you could go and look at the metrics of the Dallas Cowboys guard, and depending on if they have a new coaching staff or not, we'll see. Sure. A lot of combos, a lot of combination blocks, a lot of center guard help each other. A lot of those
Tight
guys.
ends.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm talking about inside.
Oh, okay.
The tackles, they leave those poor dudes out there for 85% of the time.
And the other thing is the stunts, right? How many times did this team have an issue picking up stunts?
Yeah.
And I think Kelvin Banks is a guy that does process and see that and is able to switch and pick some of that stuff up, recognize when the blitz is coming, some of that stuff with defenders. I wonder, though, and I don't want to interject whatever you're about to say here, Vach. Please, you can answer this afterwards, but who do you think's a better power player if you kicked him inside? Is your LSU Tiger Will Campbell, who I also think could be a good guard, or Kelvin Banks Jr.?
I think Banks is a stronger guy. I think Campbell is more fleet of foot, if you want to put it that way. I think Banks is just a more powerful guy. The thing about it is, you could see Campbell second level and stuff like that, to Bobby's point. But I've also seen him, like, he gets a 2-point stance, kick. He's out there, Banks, it's a little bit, it's not as quick. With Campbell, I see it. If you said Campbell play tackle, I'm in.
Okay.
Campbell play guard, not so much, I don't think.
First of all, I got a 2 on Campbell, and I'm ready for the internet to kind of not like me on this. I think
same thing.
I think
Probably a high 2, though.
Yeah, Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well,
he'll go
in the first
15,
round.
16, 17 or something like that. Yeah. I think he gets a little high for me to be playing guard. Like he gets straight legged. Like he's like first of all, his stance is already up, and then he's kind of a taller dude already. So if you're playing guard, I kind of want you to be able to bend so that you can dig guys out, and that's why I think Banks is really good at. Like Banks does get down. I have a hard time seeing Will Campbell get down like that.
I heard Dane say something a couple weeks back that I thought was interesting. So Will Campbell is his top offensive lineman. He's my top offensive lineman, and I don't feel great about the offensive line class. But are you convinced that if Tyler Guyton's in this draft, Will Campbell goes before Guyton? Because Dane said he thinks Guyton goes ahead of him if he's in this class.
I disagree. I disagree.
I think Guyton does go ahead of him in this class.
And we got to take his rookie year out of the consideration.
Just whatever the evaluation
as
was
a
coming out of
prospect.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Well, if you got through all the holding penalties at Tulsa, and you kind of got through all that, you would say
With Tyler?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about Tyler Guyton.
Oh, you're about Tyler.
Guyton.
Oh, Guyton. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Tyler Smith.
Yeah, does Guyton as an evaluation go ahead of Will Campbell for the league? I think for most of the league, Guyton would have been higher.
Boy, I don't.
I disagree.
I totally disagree.
If
with
you
that.
think
To the
Campbell
league,
is
I'm not
clumsy-
disagreeing
No,
with you, I'm
I
just
know.
saying
I
with
know.
the
I
league.
get what you mean.
If you think Campbell is clumsy, one of my biggest gripes about Guyton was how he leans and get over his skis and falls all over the place.
Yes.
There's
you
no
made
way.
this known. I mean, I'll give you credit. You made that known.
I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. I wasn't a big
No,
Guyton
that's what I'm
fan.
saying. I'm giving you credit for that.
Yeah. So
the rest
Campbell,
of us were like our hands over our eyes.
Yeah, and Campbell, I don't think of Campbell as a powerful player, but I think he played with more power than Guyton. Plus, I think there's a better path for Campbell to get on the field for me. Like I wasn't excited to put Guyton on the field.
Yeah.
I could find a way to put Campbell on the field. Like, all right, cool. I'll put him at right guard and gripe about it. I wasn't excited about it.
So I like to rip on Brian about okay, we're not going to play like cowards here, right?
Sure.
I feel like this first round, that's kind of all I'm doing. Looking at these guys, like, can I get the safest player?
Hey, that's
Because
what
I can't miss.
I'll
Who
fight.
is-
I'll
who is
fight
the safest
anybody.
player?
Who's the safest
Who
player?
is the safest player?
That runner from Boise is the safest.
He
is.
He'll be right around there for you. Yeah, I would
See,
imagine
but
that'd
that's
be-
what I'm
What about
saying.
as an offensive lineman, though?
I
You're
still
sticking with the O line
That's
class.
where I'm kind of going with Campbell here. I think
Campbell-
I
I'd
know
play,
what I'm doing.
I'd play Banks at guard. That's just
Okay.
me. If you said I had to take if the medical, if we all get to Indy and the medical checks out on Simmons and it's clean bill of health and all that, tally ho, let's
That's our
go.
dude.
Like I'm all for that.
I've heard Banks from Texas, Will Campbell from LSU, Josh Simmons from Ohio State. I want to throw another name in there that I've seen up there. Wyatt Milam from West Virginia. Has anybody watched him?
I think that's a guard, and I think he's going to be like second round or something.
Yeah, we can have a conversation.
True
a little bit
second
further.
round, like in the 30s somewhere.
Well, talk
But that's
about the
my-
player. There's some people that think this guy is the next Zach Martin.
The next Millam,
Which year, Zach Martin?
Yeah.
Not this year.
So last week I said
love you,
this,
Zach.
Kyle. Show me the 320-pound heavy guards or whatever. That's what I think Wyatt Millam is, right? Like he's 330 or something like that. Big as hell, humongous, powerful dude. Down blocks, like I said, combos,
317.
317.
6'6", 317.
He looks a little bigger than that.
Oh, well,
he looks a little bigger than that. But
Your
I don't.
tape's a little clearer than mine, I guess.
Possibly. I don't think of him as a tackle
year
because I
did you
think
watch?
his feet kind of get a little lumbery, so they're kind of heavy, and he's one of those guys where I'm powerful, and if I quick set you and grab you, I got you. But that quick setting can get him in trouble sometimes a little bit. He'll lean and fall over. But just a gritty, nasty dude. If you're just gonna play him in guard, then fine. But to Kyle's question and something that me and Broadus kind of mentioned a little bit, do y'all think the league don't really like these powerful guards anymore? Because there have been some guards in last year's draft, year before, that I've loved.
Yeah.
Like, this dude is strong, but his feet may not be the best or whatever, and they'll go 4th round, 5th round. I was like, damn, I love that dude's tape. He's strong, he's gritty, he's powerful, great on the second level. But
you have
why
an
is he?
example? You have anybody that sticks out?
The guy
UCLA.
that Osiris Torrance was a guy.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Osiris is one of them.
He still went in the first, though, didn't he? He was
that guy
like
that
29, right?
I know
Let
who
me
you're.
look.
That UCLA.
UCLA.
No, he was 59, second round.
59.
Maffei.
Antonio
Yeah.
Maffei.
Oh.
I was a fan of Antonio
Loved
Maffei.
him
I'm like,
too.
he's being that sharp, and they just got all these clean runways behind him, but he goes late. Or Derek.
Maffei had injuries.
Zavala, wasn't that another one? NC State.
Brown.
Zavala also had injury stuff.
Yeah.
Or like Brown from Bama, like Deontay Brown. Just I move people.
Okay.
And if you're watching offensive line film, the first thing on your note should be, can I move people? Does he move guys?
Yes.
And these guys move guys, but they always go go day 3 or something like that. So I'm curious.
And then they end up starting and playing good time.
And they're
Good
fantastic.
snaps.
So I see
Look at
Millam.
Osiris Torrance. It's done the same thing with Buffalo.
He's been great.
So I see Millam, and Millam is a move, guys, but my feet may not be the best. And I'm just wondering, will the league look at him and draft him late, even though I like him in the second round?
Well, and I wonder the same thing about Booker from Alabama. Now,
love
I'm Booker.
Oh, yeah,
He's the best guard
That's guard
in the
one.
class.
Yes, sir.
And I'd add, because you and I think we're looking at the same thing here. I want nasty.
Yep.
I want people movers, and I want somebody who's going to put someone on their rear.
Big.
And Tyler Booker does that. The other offensive tackle I would advocate for is Connerly Jr. from Oregon. This dude, to me, you look at the size. I think he's a guy that offensive line coaches are going to look at and say, I can mold this dude. Give me that mold of clay, and I'm going to make him a really good player. And you watched him against Abdul Carter.
Yes, sir.
I was very impressed in the Big Ten Conference Championship game. The one-on-ones, he did not get overpowered. He's got long arms, the good kick out to force pressure wide of the quarterback. That was one of his best things against Carter. That's a guy, if I had to bet on one of these tackles that might go a little bit later, that could turn out to be the best of the bunch, I think Connerly Jr. is the one I lean to.
Let me introduce you to Charles Grant from William and Mary.
Okay, see, I haven't
About that?
I haven't
You
seen
like what I did there? You like what I did?
Yeah,
I
sir.
did.
Hey, the
sir.
league loves him.
Yeah. Oh,
That's a senior
am I
bowl
late
guy,
to the
too.
party?
No,
on
I'm
this one?
saying he's been one of their little sleepers, but they're waiting for the media to catch up
All right,
on him.
all
They
right.
like
Grab
him.
you some Bill and Mary tape.
Let's go.
Yeah.
It's gonna catch up. The media will catch up at the end of the month whenever
Yeah.
he's in Mobile.
The
Yeah.
further along you're going to get, people are going to talk more about
Yeah,
Grant.
Mike
Grant's
Green and
somebody the
Jahdae
NFL's
Barron.
been on.
Everybody
Tell me
needs
about
to
him,
catch
Brian.
up to those two.
Tell me about
Can
him.
we
Ryan.
tell him about you?
Yeah, tell me about him.
You guys are starting left tackle there for the tribe. You all should know the tribe.
Oh, of course.
This guy was a champion high school wrestler. Draft him right now.
That's all you need.
Linderbaum,
Either he's from
Wirfs.
Belgrade, Florida, or he's a champion high school wrestler. Draft him either way, is what I've learned along the way. He's made a ton of starts for William and Mary. He's going to play in the Senior Bowl. Outstanding quickness out of his stance and his set. He's very light on his feet, man. And an ideal length for the position. He holds defenders at arm's length. He plays with knee bend. He plays with balance. I don't see him getting overpowered or knocked off balance. Yeah, he's playing against some accountants and some other people like that. But we'll
Bounce houses in the end zone.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. You know, VMI, Richmond. Richmond plays some decent football. But he processes stunts and stuff like that. He's not going to get fooled. He's flexible. Rarely do you see him off balance or out of position. He can dominate as a finisher. He plays through the whistle. I mean, I'm really looking forward to hearing the reports from the Senior Bowl and seeing the one-on-one tape. Vosh is the one that turned me on. He goes, "You seen this Charles Grant guy?" And I'm like, "No." And next thing you know, I get tape. But you're right, my friend.
Senior Bowl is going to be humongous for him because I'm just watching this film and I've never even heard of this school. What the hell is Towson? What is it?
Towson?
Yeah, what?
Maryland.
Maryland.
Yeah.
I'm just seeing
Towson
schools.
State. Come on, man.
I'm seeing schools I've never
I
seen
think they've
before.
dropped the state since then.
Oh, have they?
Yeah.
It's just
Towson.
Towson now.
See, y'all don't even know
Just
about
Towson.
I think they had a lineman drafted a couple years ago.
They did, and
Towson.
a good basketball school.
There we go.
But I want to see him versus some real dude. I don't know how it's gonna like play out, what team or whatever. But we're gonna see
What are
him
you
versus.
crawfishing on this guy for?
I'm not crawfish. I've told you exactly what I'm saying. He whoops ass. I can't say ass, right?
Yeah, you can.
He whoops ass, but he's whooping a character that don't play football
Well, so
for
did
real.
Josh Allen threw to cattle ranchers and stuff out there at Wyoming.
Quarterback
and
is
that-
different.
He emailed
But-
everybody
but
he could.
To your point,
Get
though,
on a team.
when Senior Bowl gets here and he's gonna have to line up against Princely,
Umami Yellen.
and Donovan as Boston College. Donovan is,
I don't know that one.
and Mike Green and those characters. When he lines up against those,
He's got
guys,
Kyle Kennard, Landon Jackson, Josiah Stewart, Jordan Birch, David Walker.
That's
I mean, all
great.
these guys
That's
that are
great
going.
matchups for him, and I got him in my second round right now. But if he can whoop those guys, I don't have a problem moving him up my board a little bit. If he can whoop those, guys.
I haven't watched him yet. I know his reputation. I've not watched him yet. Does
love
he meet the Ted Thompson test for you? Does he walk on water?
Yeah, I tell you what, man. Yeah, I learned that in Green Bay. If you're coming from one of these small places, you better walk on water.
Towson water. But
Yeah,
it's-
Hey, Towson.
Be walking on
by the way, first player Towson put in the NFL. You know who it was?
who's that?
Punter Sean Landetta.
There you go.
What a
He was a
legend.
Towson guy.
Sean Landetta.
All right, we got to take our first break. When we come back, we've got a little bit more to talk about, but I want to talk about guys that you want to stick away from, keep away, strategies in general.
Where's my
Me and Brian got two of them.
that you want to get away from when we come back right after this on the Draft Show.
Here we go. Tyler from Dude Perfect here. Big news. We just dropped our very own Dude Perfect smoothie with Smoothie King.
We is strong. It's my recipe.
Technically, we all came up with it, Kobe.
I mean, you put a potato in yours.
I was experimenting.
Yeah, we picked up on that. Guys, this is fruit smoothie perfection. I even heard it recently quoted that it was food perfect.
Yeah, I was the one that said that.
Oh, that's funny. It was punny.
Thank you. Anyways, get the Dude Perfect smoothie only at Smoothie King.
My smoothie.
Hi, Drew Pearson, former Dallas Cowboy and now Pro Football Hall of Famer here. If you're struggling with your vision and tired of those contacts and glasses, don't throw a Hail Mary. Go where I went. Laser Care Eye Center, the official LASIK partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Drew, thank you so much for trusting us with your vision correction procedure. At Laser Care Eye Center, we offer 6 different vision correction procedures to help patients see.
Check them out at dfweyes.com. Tell them Drew sent you. Hood hood.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
This is the DallasCowboys.com Draft Show.
Welcome back into the Draft Show presented by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. It's Miller time. Cowboys Nation Amanda Foster been named the 2024 Dallas Cowboys Fan of the Year, presented by Captain Morgan for her dedication to the team and spicing up the game. Vote for Amanda to be the ultimate NFL Fan of the Year at NFL.com/Fan of the Year. Back alongside Zach Wolchuk, Voch Lombardi, Brian Broaddus, Bobby Belt with Chris Beam in the back. I wanted to do a little keep away. These are draft strategies and position groups, not necessarily specific players, but position groups in its entirety kind of help setting the stage for the draft as a whole. But what strategy would you stick away from? For example, Zach,
is this for the Cowboys or for all teams?
For all teams.
Okay.
So this is just in general for the draft.
Okay. Oh, this is perfect. Okay.
Yes.
So all right, I got you, Kyle.
Running back in the first is an example. I would stay away from drafting a running back in the first round. Not saying that
I've got an outside the box one for you.
But what you got?
I think like every team in the top 11 picks of this just need to stay away from Abdul Carter. There's something about this.
I love it.
That's a good way.
He's just, I think the bust potential is off the charts with him. Character issues.
Yeah.
That shoulder might be a chronic injury. That might be something that lingers throughout the entire career.
There's people out there right now.
Yeah, I mean, at least for the first 11 picks, it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, just the first 11. As soon as he's on the board at 12, all of a sudden that goes away.
Who's picking at 12?
He's the best player on the board.
I mean, wait, Laramie Tunsil went what, 13?
Yeah.
And like enough teams was like, this just doesn't feel right until you get to around 12 or 13.
Clearly.
Yeah, makes sense.
No, I think for me it's tight end. And at least for the Cowboys, I would not be looking at this. I'm still a Ferguson believer, and I think I like Tyler Warren more than a lot of people. Like Tyler Warren is probably.
I don't know. I brought up Harold Fannin Jr. from Bowling Green the other day, and I got shut down real quick about Tyler Warren from.
I love Tyler Warren. I mean, I think he is the best linebacker, but I need to do more work on tight end, excuse me. But I mean, the dude plays all over the place. Like if you're looking for the definition of a football player, Tyler Warren is right there in the dictionary. But I just don't think, I think it's too rich. Yeah. I just am not going tight end. That's not a conversation for me in round one of this draft.
Watch me go for a little Maction here and take that Harold Fanning.
Yeah. Round one?
No, I don't know if I'd take him round one, but I'll tell you one, if you start talking about tight ends, my guy Mason Taylor, who's Jason Taylor's son, I could just say it from LSU. I've watched the kid play every snap. What's that?
Nothing. Keep keep going.
Joy Taylor.
Oh, wow.
I said it. Joy Taylor is his name. I'm sure she's proud of him.
What school?
LSU.
Oh, I was talking about Joy.
Better than Colston Loveland?
I'll tell you what.
Yes.
I tell you what. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Fox.
The thing with Loveland and all that. I think when we get through these tight ends, there's going to be a decent group. Warren's probably going to be the. I wonder if people would take Loveland from Michigan in the first round. I don't think I would.
I would not.
Yeah, so I think you're on.
Gunnar Helm from Texas.
I tell you what, every time I watch the game of Texas play, he was making a damn play.
Yeah.
Bobby, any thoughts?
He's Gunnar Helm's going to go on day 2. And there's not been as much buzz about him, but I think he's going to go on day 2. Yeah. He's somebody who's going to be much higher in the tight end group than I think people have anticipated.
I think Pro Football Focus. I was looking at their list of their big board. I think they had him in like 50 on their board.
Oh wow!
Yeah, on their big board. So
that'd probably have him in the top 3 or 4 tight ends of this class. This isn't the same class that Sam Laporta came out of, and Trey McBride and all these different guys. Kincaids. Yeah, this is not the same class. This is a thinner tight end group. Yeah. What about you, Voch, in terms of stay away right now?
Brian would not like this, but this is just for my Cowboys.
That's an every night occurrence with you.
It's fair enough. I don't think the Cowboys should look safety in round 1, 2, or 3. It's just, you have so many needs. And I understand that, hey, free safety play may be XYZ here. Some Cowboy fans may not be liking what's going on with either safety, really. But you also have problems at 1 tech. You got problems at 3 tech if you don't re-sign Osa. Some of your edge guys, hey, we'll kind of have a conversation about that. You have a linebacker that's a star, but he may not play football next year. Offensive line, we just had a powerful first segment about your offensive line play here. So I just don't think you can go luxury stuff. So that's tight end, just like Wolchuk said, and I think safety. I don't think you can, in great conscience, even if Malachi is there, right, Georgia, you can't look at him and go, all right, I'm going to pass up on this pass rusher to get a safety that may not be involved in every single play. He can go cover the nickel. He can go play down the box. He can go tackle, on the roof and all that kind of stuff, Brian. But I need somebody that's really going to help me with this Mozzie situation or this right guard because Zach is gone situation. I need that help right now.
Okay, so you're talking about pass rusher is what you were saying. So you would take – you're clearly maybe take his teammate Walker over.
Yeah, I'd go Walker over.
I would go Walker
over Start.
I'd go Mike Green in a heartbeat over him.
Yeah. Both
out of Marshall.
Okay.
Mike Green and Jalen Walker, I will go both those guys over safety for sure.
Okay. How about Pierce from Tennessee?
No.
That's a little high for me for Pierce. Maybe we trade it back or something like that. I would go Pierce.
Okay, so the line that we draw on the edges is Mike Green from Marshall.
Ask about the other guys though, Brian. Ask about the other 2 guys.
Oh no. I know what you think about those A&M kids. You and I are about to go on the ledge here.
Nick Scordon is not a first round player for me. He's not a second round player for me.
Oh.
And all the dudes that I got in my 3rd round grades, I like them better than Nick Scordon from Texas A&M. I have a hard time with that.
The way I see your board then is you've got all the Twitchies and the non-Twitchies.
That's kind of how it is this year.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it is. But when I'm watching Scordon, man, I just see Cleveland Farrell, and I just want to go, man, I don't want to deal with that. And look, y'all can probably disagree. We can fight if y'all want to. But I'm not feeling them. But another one, Michael Williams from Georgia, they got different kind of issues. But Michael, I'm not here for the ball of clay guys. I'm not here for the raw guys. So when I was talking about Guyton earlier, Guyton was a ball of clay that's very athletic. I think Michael Williams is incredibly athletic. I think he could be something if you trust your coaching staff to, fix him in. But what I see, he runs down the middle of people right now. Yeah. And you just can't run down the middle of pro offensive linemen, whether it's inside or outside. So those 3 edges, really, if you count the other Texas A&M guy.
Shamar Stewart, I got him in the 3rd.
I'm not a fan of Shamar Stewart neither. So.
I don't know where those guys are like. Mike Vrabel in New England can take them.
Yeah.
They can play the 5 tech. They can play.
You don't like the 285-pound, 290 edge?
I don't know what to do with them. I really don't. Like, those are 2 guys. I'm watching them play. I'm not seeing the first round talent
one
flash.
Already in Marshawn Nealon.
Right.
It's kind of what you have.
Nealon's got more pass rush ability.
I'm sorry, Aggies.
He's 275. He's a little smaller, but
better athlete too.
When you look at Nick Scordon, Bobby, you can maybe answer this better than anyone. The league right now, as we sit on January 13th, has him as a surefire first-round pick, maybe top 15 pick. Yeah. But I get this sense from not just Brian, not just Voch, not just Zach, that he's maybe not that, and it's a little smoke and mirrors.
So Scordon, I don't think, like, when people have, I saw John Owning tweet something the other day where he said, I'm not getting the top 10 hype for Scordon. And I'm like, is Scordon getting top 10 hype? Like, I don't mind.
There was a mock that had him to the Cowboys at 12.
I like Scordon fine. I like the upside. I would not take him at 12. And I've not heard from anybody when I've asked around about Scordon or what the thought process is. I haven't heard anybody talking about him like he's a top 15 player. So I don't know if that's just media buzz kicking up his name around that. I think Scordon is right now, if I were to guess, I think Scorton's probably somewhere between 20 and 35.
I have more trouble watching him play, and it's going to take watching 13 games or whatever, and maybe I'll figure it out. But
why is it so troublesome?
I was expecting more of a twitchy kind of a rusher, and he's not. And I don't know if I could take that type of his style of play at 12, and I don't see it.
You know, it's interesting. So like when I hear Voch talking about Michael Williams, like if I'm gonna say, all right, well, there's a lot of busts you can point to who you describe similarly to Michael Williams, but you know who also had a very similar rundown to Michael Williams was Danielle Hunter years ago.
Sure.
Like Danielle Hunter was the same sort of scouting report. So I'm curious, Brian, is there anybody like Scorton that you felt a way about before that then ended up hitting? Like somebody who you went, I don't see it, and I don't see this place. Was there anybody who hit when you looked at them that way?
Joey Bosa. You was a big, I don't see the twitchy stuff with Bosa in them, but he ended up being like a good player for you.
Yeah, I thought that he was like Greg Ellis.
Sure.
But see, Greg is not really was not the twitchy.
And Scorton is not a Joey Bosa level technician.
No. I mean, I just don't. I didn't see pass rush moves. I saw you talking about rushing down the middle. I mean, I literally saw the type of guy that was like, if you were playing as a 3-4 front, a 5 technique, that head up guy that just extends and kind of does that. I just did not see a guy. I thought he might be even a better tackle, like a 3 technique, than he would be as an edge.
I'm taking Sawyer. I'm taking Princely.
Sawyer is
Sawyer,
Ohio State.
Sawyer from Ohio State. Princely from Ole Miss. Mike Green.
Marshall.
Donovan is from Boston. I got all those guys over the. I'm just not seeing it with Scorton. You know what I mean?
I'm looking at both of these guys as defensive tackles. I don't even have them in the defensive end conversation.
Okay, that's fair.
Like
if
just from a Cowboys lens, I think you would be kicking them inside, and maybe Scorton I'm playing as a 3 technique.
Yeah.
Maybe if I lose Osadigi-Zua, he's sliding in there because he's a freak athlete. I mean, the dude was very productive at A&M. The problem was we're not sure about Will Campbell, and I watched him against LSU, and Will Campbell's kind of dominating him inside a little bit.
So Zach, this is what. When you watch Nick Scorton, do you see him whooping folk?
No.
That's really.
I see hustle, I see effort, but I see a splash player who's
when he's whooping folks, it's because of strength.
I think we can just can just whittle this down to the barest of bones. Look, there's millions of people watching us right now, and they may watch film differently, right? The baseline,
good for you too.
The baseline evaluation, appreciate it, bro. The baseline evaluation is like, is he winning matchups?
Yeah.
And I'm just seeing Scorton kind of, he'll win sometimes. He'll power somebody sometimes. But how did he overpower those guys? Was it impressive?
How many folks do you see whipping folks in this class, though?
Man, Mike Green out here beating the hell out of him.
But okay, all right, like
Princely.
But that was Mike Green at Marshall.
Did Mike Green go to Towson? Did he play Towson this year? I don't know if they're
that dude's
they played Ohio State.
They played Ohio State.
Sure, Green, sure,
Virginia Tech,
Princely,
sure. But I mean, like honestly, a lot of the guys that I've seen, like who I saw whooping folks on tape this year, aren't even eligible. Like Dylan Stewart in South Carolina was whooping folks as a teenager.
Well, that's different whooping. That's a different.
But you see it from Jalen Walker sometimes. Mike Green though is number 1.
Princely Uman-Yellen got like, or Princely Umami-Yellen got like 2 sacks in some of the biggest games that they've been in.
He was wrecking folks.
He jumps off the film to me. So Scorton, and look, to Bobby's point, maybe the league sees him a little different. I just saw some mock drafts here. I see some PFF thing where that's just me looking for names, right? So I just see him up top, and I'm like, this dude up top. I'm not seeing him as an up top guy. I see him as a round 3 kind of guy.
I don't know with any sort of certainty, having talked to people, that like the league takes Scorton in the first round.
That makes
he
me feel
could,
better.
but I don't know that they do it.
I think it's media buzz. If that's the case, and if all the film is playing out, I haven't watched him yet. Full disclosure, so. I think if all of you guys are agreeing in that sense and you're starting to see it happen, that makes me think it's just me.
I've heard more people around the league talk more positively about Shamar Stewart than Scorton.
Interesting.
Has anybody talked positively about that Ashton Gillette from
I've
Louisville?
not heard about him yet. I need to ask around.
I haven't watched him yet. I'll watch him next.
Is he an edge rusher?
Yeah, he's an edge rusher. I mean, like you said,
does he whoop folks?
He whoops folks, but I tell you what, though,
does he whoop them?
He's not a sacker guy.
Okay,
but what he does is like he like plays the run great.
Okay, so he's
really
like
strong.
JTT.
You can move him inside. Yeah, I mean, I would take a guy like that.
Sure.
That I know, like I think I could do something with this cat.
Yeah.
I want to hear more about that, and I want to hear another couple round of names when we come back. Sure. I forgot we got to get out at 45 since we rescheduled this show. Ooh. So when we come back, we're going to wrap it up. A quick names segment here on the Draft Show to end the day.
I'm Darren Woodson, former Dallas Cowboy player and Super Bowl champion. When I played in the NFL at a high level, I relied on my vision to see the field. As I started getting older, I noticed my vision wasn't as good, and I was getting frustrated from wearing my glasses all day. I went to Laser Care Eye Center, and Dr. G talked about all the options. Thanks to technology and Laser Care Eye Center, I can see near, far, and between. Don't fumble your vision any longer. Visit them at dfweyes.com and tell them Darren sent you. They got me back on my game.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Here we go. Tyler from Dude Perfect here. Big news. We just dropped our very own Dude Perfect smoothie with Smoothie King.
We is strong. It's my recipe.
Technically, we all came up with it, Kobe.
I mean, you put a potato in yours.
I was experimenting.
Yeah, we picked up on that. Guys, this is fruit smoothie perfection. I even heard it recently quoted that it was food perfect.
Yeah, I was one that said that.
Oh, it was funny. It was punny.
Thank you. Anyways, get the Dude Perfect smoothie only at Smoothie King.
My smoothie.
How about them Cowboys? Or how about them Tyson Cowboys Nuggets? As we cheer for the stars on the field, we love that we've also got some stars on our plate, thanks to Tyson brand star-shaped Cowboys Nuggets. That, along with all our other favorite Tyson Foods products, sure make game day special. Score some delicious Tyson Cowboys Nuggets and become a game day star, just like our Cowboys. As you enjoy your stars on and off the plate, remember, tailgates and game day have always been Tyson.
This is the DallasCowboys.com Draft Show.
Back here on the Draft Show, presented by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. It's Miller time. The biggest names in tennis head to the Ford Center at the Star in Frisco this February. Witness top-ranked Casper Ruud, Vach's favorite, former Dallas Open champion, American Tommy Paul. Dazzle on the court as the Dallas Open moves to a new home. Catch the hard-hitting action and watch top players on the tour compete live. Tickets are available now at SeatGeek.com. All right, Zach Wolchuk, give me a name to watch as we wrap up this version of the Draft Show.
Okay, guys that we haven't necessarily talked about already. Okay, I mentioned him at the end of the last segment. I'll talk about JT Tuimoloau, the edge from Ohio State. And this is a guy that reminds me a little bit of A.J. Epinesa from Iowa that came out a couple of years ago. And he was getting first round, but he won in the second round. And I think JTT's another guy that's going to go in the second round. And I'd be very excited if he slid to the Cowboys range there. Reminds me a little of what you have in Neyland, to where I don't know if this is a guy that's ever going to be a double-digit sack artist at the next level, but he does everything well. He's just a well-rounded edge. I think he's impressive. He's got a great bull rush, gets a good jump off the ball, can crash down the line, play the running game, uses his hands really well, rarely gets knocked off the line of scrimmage. This is a guy that holds his ground at the point of attack. He's not going to get moved, plays with instincts and awareness. He's at a hell of a playoff right now for Ohio State. So that's a guy, like, if you don't take an edge rusher or a defensive end in the first round, which I don't think they're going to do. I'd love Mike Green there at 12, but JTT would be a name in the second round if he's available that I would be very, very interested in.
Okay.
Deion Walker, Kentucky. Now,
what position?
Tackle.
Tackle.
Defensive tackle. Now, I think he's a very interesting
Trying to
player.
get your coaches fired, aren't you?
Yes.
What coaches?
Well, see, Brian, that's
Yeah.
so look,
I'm just kidding.
So look, with this guy, you're either gonna get your coaches fired
or they're gonna
get raises. Or we getting lake houses, man. I see this dude, he comes off the line of scrimmage, big as hell, humongous, bursty.
Dude, he is.
Length. Like he plays everywhere. Like he's what, 6'5", 6'4", or something like that? 350.
6'6", 345.
They'll put him at edge. They'll put him at 1-0-3-5, wherever you want to put him.
Put him everywhere.
And he looks like a devastating, clear-cut first-round talent. but he's not in my first round because he only looks like that sometimes. And other times he looks like he's just kind of standing up. He has these aggressive loafs. He looks very laboring sometimes. Sometimes he looks the other L word, which is lazy. I don't quite know what it is. Had a conversation with Dane and said, well, Vash, because he plays so much, he's tired. Better get your ass in shape. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to be a guy that we're counting on, you might have to play 50 or 60 snaps or something like that, right? So he's a guy to where you have to figure out, and when we're going through these, combines and all this kind of stuff, coaches talking to him, they're going to have to ask him, like, hey, why were you loafing aggressively right here, right? And if he wasn't super loaf guy, he'll be a first-round kind of guy. First round guy?
Yeah.
Like if he wasn't that kind of dude or whatever. So I think if you draft him and you take him and you got faith in him and you can rally around him and give him hugs and love, I think he could be a fantastic elite type player for you if that bad side doesn't come off on you.
Nickname D1 in high school. They started calling him D1. That's just carried on. I mean, the dude's an absolute. Yeah, he is a menace. He's a guy. He's always looking at those big paws up.
Yeah.
And I try and bat a ball down, and he usually does it. I mean, Deion Walker, he might end up getting some picks in the NFL defensive tackle with how big he is.
Yeah. Nice. Bobby, what's the word around the league on him?
I've not heard on him yet. Okay. It's so early in the process too. Like, I mean, there's a couple guys that I've either had to ask about specifically, or he'll be one that I ask around about though.
Sure.
DeMarvion Overshone's in this draft, and he plays for UCLA, and that's Carson Schlesinger.
Yeah.
Schlesinger.
He is. He's going to be the first linebacker off the board in all likelihood, and he's somebody that there wasn't a lot of buzz about him until the last, I want to say, like 6 weeks, it really started picking up in draft circles. But Schlesinger at UCLA is same sort of build, same sort of body type. It's that same sort of hot motor as Overshone. There are times where, when somebody gets a block on him, like he has trouble disengaging. He is a thinner built guy. He's like 6'2", 220, 225, something like that. But he's somebody who really good sideline to sideline speed, somebody who's really good in pursuit, somebody who sees everything quickly, processes it, and attacks. I think that he's really good. Other than, like I said, some times where he gets handled and blocks when a bigger guy gets on him, or some other times where he's a little too hot and there's some over pursuit and there's some cutback lanes, but that doesn't happen a ton with him. I think he's really good, and he's going to start building a lot of buzz.
Schlesinger. That's a great name, too. On the backside of it.
Absolutely.
All right, we got to get out of here because there's another show after us today. Glad we were able to make it up, though, after the snow day, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow and Thursday. 3 episodes of the draft show this week. This is the most content you're going to get until we get to Senior Bowl week, and then you're going to get a ton of content moving forward. Senior Bowl and Shrine Bowl. I want to mention both of those since the Shrine Bowl is here in Dallas. We've got plenty more coming your way. 101 days away from the NFL draft. For Zach Wolchuk, Brian Broaddus, Vach Lombardi, Bobby Belton, Chris Beam in the back, I'm Kyle Yeoman saying so long. We'll see you tomorrow with more of the Draft Show.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!